Hi, this is Llyn Hunter again. I probably have, I stopped the video earlier for the drawing on this Krampus rocking horse piece. This is, again, the rough that I worked from. This is the drawing on the watercolor paper. This is, I believe, 300 gram, 140 pound watercolor paper. It's Canson Montval? Yeah, I don't want to move it, but it's, you can see from the side here. It's a watercolor block that's 4 by 6 inches, and we're going to paint, we're going to draw on this area here. I'm going to do all the detail in this area here, and then it's going to fold in half, and we're going to we're making a rocking Krampus, because I like Krampus a lot, and that's what I'm doing for my holiday card this year. Now, what we're going to get into right now is we're going to get into the inking of this, and I'm not sure what size pen I want to use. I'm using Micron. Basically, they're Pigma Micron pens. They're from Sakura. This is a Japanese company. The pigment, or basically the pen ink, it's almost like using India ink, but it has pigment in it. It's light, fast, it's permanent. I've been using these pens for like 20 years. They're really, really great pens. If you don't want to use dip pens and you don't want the mess of a dip pen or the difficulty of a rapidograph pen, this is a great alternative. They basically work like a felt tip pen because they are felt tips, but they have pigment in them, so they are permanent ink. So it'll take, they're called light fast because it deals with ultraviolet light will fade out your paints and your pens, and most things will eventually fade, but if you see things in museums and what have you, the reason why they don't fade is because they have pigment in them, and this has pigment in it. I'm looking at, I've got a 10's too big. I need a 1 maybe. I'm glad I'm looking at that. I need a 3, let's see here, probably a 3, a 03, 05. I've got a 01 over here somewhere, something a little bit more delicate for, I want to do some detail work on the ink. So let me go pull out my 01. I thought I had a 10, which is actually really big. Here it is. This is a 01. And I'll be probably switching between these 3 pens. The 01 might be too small. You know, it's kind of like the 3 bears, baby bear, you know, mama bear, papa bear type thing. It's like you've got, I've got 3 different sizes that may or may not be what I want. So we'll see as I start the drawing. I'll start it with the smallest pinpoint and see how that goes, because I like to go from, oddly enough, you should go from large area to more detailed areas. I have a tendency to just jump around with a lot of things. If you're doing a drawing, a lot of times it's best to go from big shapes to little shapes. But with me, I kind of am all over the place. So we're going to start with Krampus's head here. Now, I'm going to be doing what I call ghosting back occasionally with the drawing. It's like, you can tell this is a really messy drawing. It's not really tight. And I want to, I might go back in and draw with pencil and get things tighter, where I'm not, you know, maybe this is too loose and I want to come in and tighten that up a bit. But what I've got right now is a general overall idea of placement of where I'm putting everything. So that's kind of the way, this is the way I work. And this is just one artist's way of working. I mean, everybody works in a different way. And okay, so again, I'm starting with the 01 Micron because I'm doing his facial features. So I want to get him right with me. I always like to start with the face and the eyes because that's where my expression is. And if I get the face and the eyes just the way I want it, then everything else seems to turn out better. And that's just me. Again, whenever I give a lot of advice on drawing, everybody has a different way of doing things. My way may not work for you. somebody else's technique may. So it's like, don't just rely on me, or if you've come here, I am so happy you've come here to see what I'm doing, but go and check out what some other artists are doing. Now, what I did here is I wanted to give him a smile, because Krampus is kind of a wicked guy, and then I wanted to give him a tooth coming out, because he's kind of a devil. I always look at Krampus as being a substitute for the Green Man is sometimes used in English folktales and fairy tales. He's a force of nature. I think he's an old god that got captured by the Christians. It's like, we don't want to get rid of him because he's like Old Man Winter, or he's the mischief maker. He's, what we like. He's not quite the devil, because again, he follows behind Saint Nicholas, and Saint Nicholas has trapped him. That's why he's usually in chains, because he is the servant of Saint Nicholas in the mythos. And it's kind of like he's been trapped by, he's the old god that has been trapped by the new god. And it's one of the things that I think that people need their mischief makers, and people need their gods that take care of the mischief makers. It's like, he's the one who takes care of, if you've been a bad child, he's the one. He always carries a switch with a switch of sticks, and he puts coal in kids' shoes, and he takes kids away in a basket. It all depends on which legend of Krampus that you follow, and it's kind of like they all kind of mix in and tie in together. But he follows Saint Nicholas, and so the thing is that again, why would you have a devil following Saint Nicholas? Well, Saint Nicholas has got to be the good guy, right? So you got to have somebody bad. Saint Nicholas can't be the one who's punishing children. So you have to have somebody who's got the ability to actually punish children. So he plays, it's good cop, bad cop thing, is one way of looking at it. But I look at him as that, why can't you get rid of Krampus? Because Krampus is an old god. And we don't want to leave our old gods behind, even though we have the new gods come in. The old gods still have some kind of power. Oh, poop. I didn't leave room for the tassel. I'm going to have him wearing a fez. My good friend Jason Rogers and Maya, his wife, are the Fez master and mistress of Fezzorama. I'll put their link down below. If you want the best holiday fezzes on the face of the planet, these are so great for. I use them in my studio because I can wear a fez, and it doesn't have a brim on it, so it doesn't interfere with my being able to draw. I don't get a shadow from a brim. And they're so warm. They're crushable. So basically you can take accidentally, it's not like with well, actually the old fezzes were made of felt. These are made out of this really nice velour, and they're crushable and beautiful. And Jason comes up with the coolest designs for them every holiday season. I have several Krampus fezzes that I absolutely adore. I would highly recommend, if you don't know about Fezzorama, I will put the link down below, and you can get one of get them for presents for friends. I mean, they look cool, they feel wonderful. I cannot say enough about the Fezzorama fezzes. They have a chapeau type fez that is based on a Scottish cap style that I really love. Like I said, I'm doing Jason's advertising here right now, but seriously, it is the best attire that you can get for Christmas time is one of Jason's fezzes. But anyways, I like putting Krampus in a fez now. It's like I did a Krampus last year for Jason as a trade because he likes Krampus too. And I think nowadays I just think, oh, well, Krampus has to wear a fez, period. And it's like with any Christmas tradition, or any holiday tradition, or any solstice tradition. I mean, we're every generation makes their new traditions. And okay, he's got a basket on the back. I mean, with the German thing, it's like it's not just a backpack, or he carries a bag, but I like the idea of the basket. The basket is a traditional thing, so he's gonna be carrying a basket over his shoulder that he puts naughty children go in his basket. And let's see here. And he also he's more or less a satyr. He has he's half man, half goat. And they do him a lot of different ways, but I see him as half man, half goat. And I'm gonna have him riding kind of a demonic creature. It's gonna be like a deer-like creature. And as you see, what I'm doing here is I'm kind of making things up as I go along. And I'm using the pencil line that I did earlier as it's kind of like, it's a guideline. It's not an absolute. It's more or less a skeleton for me to put my information on the top of. There we go. I'm making a semi-muscular fit. I like my Krampus is cute. Because like I said, I have an affinity for my little goat man. I like satyrs. Okay, this is, let me see, when he's got this backpack thing here. So let's make it look like it's something. Put some, what I'm doing is I made a little mistake there, so put a little added texture in there. So now it looks like I intended it to be that way. This harness that he's wearing for his basket. I'm going to put some little, detail it up with like little studs. And that's the thing too. It's like when you're doing your artwork, you don't have to plan everything out straight away. I have a tendency to fix things and change things as I go along. And I'm using the, I remember I said I wasn't quite sure which pen size, nib or size I wanted at first. And I'm thinking this, I'm working again with a 01 right now. And it seems to be doing the best job. What I'll probably do, we'll see as I go along, but once we get done with the pen and ink drawing, I'll go around it with a larger point size to give it kind of a cutout line. You know, you can see I draw very sketchy. I'm not sure what I really want to do, so I have a tendency to, it's almost stipple my line so I can see, okay, am I going in the right direction? Do I have these proportions right? You can tell I put his leg up here originally with the drawing. Now I'm moving this down because I'm going, that was a little bit too high. So I'm going to put it down a little bit lower. And I'm giving him, as I'm doing this, I'm giving him kind of fluffy legs because he's got goat fur. He's got goat legs and he's got goat fur. And then I'm going to give him a pointed tail. I could give him a goat tail if I wanted to. I mean, the thing is, if you want to see something really cool, there are videos on YouTube of Krampusnacht. And I'm not sure which towns in Germany celebrate it, but there are places in Germany where they celebrate Krampusnacht, and they have these big celebrations, and people dress up in their idea of Krampus, and they parade around the street in Krampus outfits. And then that's why I say it's like Krampus, not Krampus, has his own night for when he punishes children. And I haven't really gone up and seen where exactly that is in the celebration calendar. So I'm not sure where it is. And you see it's like, I didn't quite get the tail right. I might have to come in with an X-Acto knife blade and readjust his tail. And the thing is that when you do things wrong in pen and ink, it's not the end of the world. You can come in with an X-Acto knife and pick out the ink. And your paper will still, if you shape back the paper right, it will still look okay. I'm looking at what I did here with the tail is kind of wrong. So I may come back, like I said, in with the X-Acto knife and fix that. Yeah, I probably am. Because I didn't quite get that the way I wanted it to. And a lot of times, too, mistakes that you make aren't able to be seen by the person who's viewing the actual final picture. You know where the mistakes are, but they don't. Okay. Now, this part of it, we're giving him hooves. So with cloven-hooved creatures, they have like this little toe on the back. And I've drawn, like I said, enough hoof stock in my life. With goats, they have 4 toes. Horses have just a single hoof. But most of your split-toed creatures have 4 toes, and they have this little, one of their toes sticks out in the back. And it has a hoof on it too. But your split hooves are usually in the front there. Now, since I dropped Krampus down a bit, his seat would be down lower. And the shoulders on this deer thing would be down lower. So it's like, I'm going to take my pencil. I'm going to take my eraser right now, and I'm going to erase back some of the graphite that we've got under here. So I can see, okay, what actually is graphite, what's pen. I like the way his face turned out. His face is quite cute. I like that. And what I'm going to do is, when I get done with this, I'm going to take the entire piece, put it in Photoshop, and I'm going to basically flip it to the other side, so it's the reverse, so we can have this on the other side. And so that when we fold it together, it's already done, technically. I mean, I only have to do one side. I don't have to do 2 sides on this. So I can do it upside down, backwards. Since I don't have any lettering in it or anything, I should be able to do that without too much trouble. And just take it and flip it over. We'll see. But I want to make this guy like it's a skull. He's not the deer. I'm going to do the deer part of it now. And we're going to do it like we're doing a deer skull, rather than to give it that little bit of horror, because Krampus has a little bit of scariness to it. It's kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. And I like that little bit of, the edge to Krampus. He's not your... He's the mischief part of Christmas. And I like the idea of there being, the winter solstice, the year is dying. We're at the longest night of the year, and we know that we're going to come back, and the longer days are coming after the 21st. I like that concept of the holidays, of the fact that we're actually celebrating the end of dark days and the coming of bright days. And I like the fact that, you know, when Christianity came into existence, what is it? They believe that actually when we celebrate Christ's death is actually when he was probably born. It was because they said the lambs were coming out and what have you. That would be the spring. That would not be... Okay, I'm also going to make this guy's neck exposed, but let me see. We've got to do the reins are on top, so we need to put his tack on first here. The reins that Krampus is using in his hands here, so you need to put the tack in first, otherwise you got to pick it out with a knife. Which might have happened too. I mean, it's sometimes I forget which thing goes on top of another thing, and you go, okay, I forgot that. And again, afterwards you can come back in with the X-Acto knife and fix that, which is always good. But again, we were talking about the idea that, you know, winter solstice that is usually celebrated in any place that's in north of the equator, because of the fact that, you know, growing season starts again, spring's going to come back, all those things, and so we're ending the day, celebrating the end of the dark days and the coming of the light. And I like that. And like I said, with Krampus, let's face it, it's kind of like I said, Nightmare Before Christmas. We like the scary things along with our joyful things. It's like that's part of being human. And I think that's one of the reasons why too Krampus has become so popular, and the fact that we don't want to let him go, because the old gods are fun as well. You know, I like the celebration of the idea of humanity does not want to, we like to believe in our creation myths. We like to believe in the fact that, you know, there's something out there that is greater than us in one way or another. And our imaginations will always create excuses for the bump in the night. And that's what Krampus is. He's our little bump in the night. And I like that. And I think that, you know, celebrate the light and the dark. And he's, you know, he's the fun ghost. But anyways, you can tell I'm doing everything little skittery here today. And that's because what I do is, you know, if I'm not getting, it's a way of adding detail and texture. So I'm kind of giving this deer is gonna almost got a mangy quality to him too, and I'm gonna put a little cross hatching in here, darken him up right now. Because one of the things I'm gonna do is when we're done with, I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to do this particular video, because you know, you're never sure how long a pen drawing is going to take you, especially since I'm doing something detailed, and I'm also doing it a little bit vague. Let me see. I'm going to take my pencil. I'm going to see. I'm going to get this leg kind of right. So I always have a little bit of problems getting legs like right where you want them, what have you. There we go. I think that would be better right about there, and put the other one back a little bit. Yeah, that'll be good. And I'm not sure, I kept on looking at his tail, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with his tail. Because he's a very strange, I'm making a strange creature here. And I'm thinking maybe something like that. Yeah, actually shorter. Yeah, give him kind of a longish, weird tail, just because I want a connection up here. Yeah, something like that. So you see, while I'm doing it, it's like this particular piece is not totally designed before I start. I'm basically working on it as I go and doing changes as I'm creating it. Now I want the rocker to be here, so we want to have some kind of design work kind of going up to here. So we have, you know, the equal sides, but I know it, we're gonna make holly. It's like, what am I gonna put there? I'm gonna make holly. I'm gonna put holly, all twisty type of holly there is what we're gonna do. I mean, literally, I'm designing this with you while I'm doing it. And sometimes, if you don't have somebody art directing you, that's what it's your piece. You would do whatever you want to do with it, and this is one of the things I really love about when I get to make my own stuff my own way. I have a Patreon, and I have a small number of people who I absolutely adore because they support me on Patreon. I, at the present, don't have a job in animation with the actors strike and the writers strike. Basically, animation has been on hold. All the people who produce for that stuff basically have put their lives on hold because of animation. For some reason, is always considered the stepchild in entertainment. We make more money for the entertainment industry than you can possibly imagine. And we're probably the cheapest way to produce entertainment in the entertainment industry, but we're always treated like the stepchild. We're always treated like, you know, nobody wants to be in, believe it or not, they would rather be in charge of live action than animation. So we're always kind of the stepchild, even though we really do make more money and cost less than any of the live action stuff. So I'm not, you know, it's like one of those things where I'm never sure why it is. Actually, I am sure. It's like people just don't want to. I always say, you know, nobody wants to be in charge of the children's table. And that's technically what animation is looked like as. We are the kiddie table. You know, we aren't the desired place to be. So, you know, nobody wants to be in charge of animation. They want to be in charge of live action. So we don't get the consideration, and people a lot of times don't stay in animation. They use animation as a stepping stone to live action. So it's one of these things where when the writer's strike was going on and the actors' strike was going on, even though we weren't on strike, we don't get any work because the producers aren't doing any work because they're going, oh, well, the writers and the actors are on strike. We can't do anything. Even though animation writers are attached to the Animation Guild, they are not a part of the WGA. Or they might be, you know, some of them are part of the WGA and they just went on strike to also include, you know, the some of the writers for animation were doing it in kind. But I think for the most part, it's more the producers are going, hey, we don't have to work because, gee whiz, writers are on strike, actors are on strike. Gee, we don't have to do anything, even though animation can go on. In the meantime, all of us in animation have been out of work. I mean, I've been looking all over the world for work lately, and there's not a lot of it out there. So I have patrons. I have people who help me produce work that I want to do. And this is what I want to do. I want to do stuff like this. I want to play with paper toys, and I want to write children's books, and I want to do things that I want to do without anybody telling me what to do, without somebody saying, oh, I don't like that, or it's got a limited market and you can't do that because not a lot of people are going to want a Krampus, rocking Krampus on a skeletal deer for a Christmas card or for a holiday season card. And it's like, yeah, they do. There are a lot of people out there who love Nightmare Before Christmas and still love Nightmare Before Christmas because they get to combine their two favorite holidays together. I mean, what is more wonderful than being able to combine your two favorite holidays together? Oh my word. That's what Nightmare Before Christmas does. You know, that's what Krampus does. You know, it's life and death together. That's what it is. And to celebrate life and death together, that's amazing. And that's the thing too, is that one thing about Halloween and that I feel is that we have every right to be afraid of death, but it's part of life. You can't have life without death. And being able to recognize it, I love Dia de los Muertos. And maybe I'm going to do something special for Dia de los Muertos next year. I love the way so many cultures around the world celebrate the meeting of, you know, their dead relatives. You know, the idea that, you know, you can't have life without death. And what we're celebrating around Christmas time is, you know, the dying world meeting, it's coming back into fruition again. I love that. And I think that's something that we all should celebrate, and that's what this is. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why I love Krampus. Plus, I like satyrs. I mean, you can't beat it. Okay, I'm a girl. I like a boy's chest. And beard. And the things that he is. It's like, yeah, he's fun. This is, as I'm working and finishing this up, and I'm doodling right now. This is just me doodling, okay? I mean, I'm filling in, trying to do this holly here, so we're doing it nice and tight and loose. And so I'm throwing in a few berries here and there, and then I'm throwing in a leaf or two. I'm not really thinking about, see, I put in this area to give me, okay, I need to fill up this area. So I'm kind of doing that. So it's like, I've created, okay, here's a leaf. Okay, you're going to take a point and throw, you know, a holly leaf really just has like 3 points on each side. And I'm giving a curve like a C, and then I'm throwing a few points on it to give it that feeling. It's an allusion to holly. And then I'm throwing a few circles together, for those will be where the berries go. And what I'm going to do too is when we get to the painting part of it, I'm going to probably have to put the painting on a different video, because by the time we're done with this one, this is going to be a rather long video for all the drawing in this. I'll put the painting on another video. And what I'll do with that one, the painting will go pretty fast on this one. I think the painting will go probably 15 minutes tops. And then what we'll do is when we're done with the painting, you go back in and I will go back in and redraw a lot of things, because this is going to have some red and it's going to have some brown in it, and those particular colors. Okay, now what I'm doing down here is I'm putting in some branches. Excuse me for changing the subjects on you, but so I'm putting in these C shapes to give, you know, illusion of open space, so that we can put some branches in there for where it attaches to the area where the rocker is. And I'm just putting some lumps here for detail. Yeah, I think that's good. And then it's like I really feel like turning this, but since it's filling the whole scene, I normally would like turn it so I could do the rocker part better. Okay, so we're gonna have this part down here is for, this is going to be where the two parts attach, where you'd put a piece of tape on, or you'd glue it together. That's your tab for the cutout. And then the rocker, I'm not going to use my one for the rocker. I'm going to come in with, I've got a 5 here. It's a thicker pen. I'm going to use that here. Sorry. make sure it's still, yeah, there we go. That's better. Probably should put it up higher in the camera anyways. I thought I had it. So I looked up and going, okay, Llyn, you thought you had your camera focused on the center and we have a lot of white space at the top. Okay, so again, I'm just linking my lines. I'm not good at, you know, a full stroke. And you can tell, you know, everybody says, well, you're supposed to draw from your shoulder. Is usually better than drawing from your wrist, the way I'm doing. It's not the way you're supposed to draw. It's kind of the way I draw. It's like, here's the thing in life, or a thing in art too. I mean, everybody's got their own way of doing stuff. And I have my way of doing. Okay, this, I'm starting to do the outline. Now, what I'm thinking is, he's got to have, the horn's got to be cut here at the top. This is going to be the fold line. And I want to give it an outline here so that when, if you're going to cut it, I mean, most people don't want to cut in the details. So I will give it a heavy outline that goes there, and then I'll give an outline around here, like this. Okay. And I think I'm going to do that. No, actually, I've got to do that now because I need to put it on. What I'm going to do with this is we're going to, let's see, where's my 5? That is my 5, okay. Might want the 8. Yeah, no, that's good. I'll use the 5. So what I'm doing right now is I'm giving a nice thick outline. This is going to be basically the cut line. Yeah, do that. So if you were going, so what I'm going to do when we finish this video is I'm going to throw this, a little thicker. I'm going to throw this on the scanner for my computer, and I am going to make a black and white pattern. So if somebody wanted to do this and color it, they could just do that. They could do a black, I'm going to have a black and white version of this that I am going to put on my Patreon for all my patrons. And I'll probably leave it open just because this is a simple one. The color one I'll leave just for my patrons, and the black and white one I'll leave it open for everybody. That you can go to my Patreon site after I put up this video. I'll have it there where you can go to the posting for this particular video. I'll put a link down the bottom where you can go on my Patreon site and download a JPEG of it, and you can print it out and have your own color your Krampus for Christmas rocking toy. And then once I get that done, we'll do another one where I'm going to do this in color, and I'm going to basically send it to Got Print. I'll put a link for them too. There are several printers out there where you can get a lot of Christmas cards done for inexpensive. I'm going to have probably, I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a 500 or 1,000 this year. But if you become one of my patrons at $12 a year, basically, I'm one of the lucky ones because I got grandfathered in. You can still become a patron for $1 a month, and basically it's $12 a year. You will get a signed postcard, colored from me, along with your membership to my Patreon, because I'm sending this out as my Christmas card to everybody this year. let's see here. There, so you can see, this is my kneaded eraser again. This is, you see, you clean it, you can see the black disappearing as it goes into the creamy part of the eraser, and that just cleans it, and then it just takes up the pencil line really, really nicely. So I can see, okay, what do I still have to do in this drawing? Okay. Alright, I am going to do just a little bit more detailing here and there on this. I'm going to scan it into my computer, and if you come back for the next video, I'll put the link below for the next video, or it'll be up above. One of the pictures should show which video that I want you to see next, which I will put in the next video for this one. And I will do the painting on this. I'm going to paint it in watercolor and then put a little bit more detailing and pen and ink in the next video. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you watching this one. If you've gotten to the end, I so appreciate it. You have no idea. I think it's so wonderful that you spent a little time with me today. And again, my name is Llyn Hunter, L-L-Y-N-H-U-N-T-E-R. Join me on Patreon. Join me for the next video. I try to put up one a week. Thank you very much. You have a marvelous holiday season.